welcome to another episode of the Sheer Motivation Podcast. Coming on here for your weekly dose of motivation. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe via our YouTube channel.
Yes, click the button. Don't forget. Well, if you made it here, congratulations. Pat yourself on the back because you survived yet another week. Woo. Survived
Yes.
work, kids, family, football practice, basketball practice, all of the things you survived. So pat yourself on the back. So what's been going on with you, Tina, this week?
Not much, not much. It has been a kind of even till week, so I'm glad about that. Work, kids, running the household. That's about it. So, I encourage anyone that, a week with no events is a great week. You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
But be prepared that things change quickly. So,
They do. They do. Lately this week, I've been checking in with myself. I noticed this last week I've had moments where I felt a little sad here and there. Out of nowhere. Nothing really happened or didn't happen. It was just little moments where I was like, dang, I feel kind of sad right now. But also, my lady time just came and went. So I noticed, I don't know how you ladies are out there, but I know when my lady time is close or here, there's a little dip in my mood. So I just been trying to make sure I stay on the up and up.
it's very important to be in tune with your body. We did experience daylight savings time.
I didn't even think about that.
The seasons change. We went from summer to fall. Um,
And then back to summer and then fall. This confusing weather,
right.
bipolar weather
Right, right.
that we
So
have.
just be in tune with your body, and if you feel something that's not normal, definitely, seek the attention that you need to that. Just look at patterns, of things, and try to figure out what's going on with you. We always talk about self care, self love. If it needs to be longer showers, if you need to go for a massage, if you need to go for a long walk,
Yeah.
if you need to have a difficult conversation with a friend just to get that emotion out, definitely do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I would, because I noticed, I was like, why do I feel so sad? Then I was like, did I take my vitamin D? Because when my vitamin D is low, I start feeling a little, So
Right.
I just been trying to take my vitamins this week, drink my water, pull myself out of the funk. Like you said, I didn't even think about how daylight savings and the weather changing could affect, my mood. So, I just been tapping into that. So y'all drink y'all water, take y'all vitamins, check in with that stuff. I did have my yearly physical. All
Okay.
things are well. So I'm excited about that. All the
That's
stuff that
awesome.
needed to be negative was negative. Okay. And all the levels was right on point. So I'm happy about that.
And I'm going to tell you in advance because I know she's not going to forget to tell you. But she has a birthday coming up, and she's not going to forget to tell you. But this is just
Yeah.
your prelude to start getting yourself in agreement with
Yeah.
what Delina has going
Yeah,
on.
because
So
next month it's my birthday, December 13th. I do accept gift cards, cash apps, all kind of things, but we'll have plenty of time to discuss that. Like I said, gift cards, cash app, lunches, all of those things, because my birthday is December 13th. December
correct.
13th is my birthday.
And
It's
she
my
has
birthday.
reminded me countless number of times, and she's also reminded all of our coworkers. And I know for myself, I love birthdays. I love birthdays. I love celebration. I love to see people, get cake and celebrate another year of
Yeah.
going around the sun, as they love to say. So I enjoy it. So I'm here for it. It doesn't bother me in the least bit. But I don't want to be by myself and being the only person that knows that her birthday is coming up. So I
Oh,
thought
you
you
won't be.
guys.
Yeah, you won't be alone. You won't be alone. Yes, it's my birthday, December 13th. Write that down.
Put on your calendar. So, speaking of sitting down and talking and having difficult conversations, we know that in the past week or so, an interview came out with Jeezy and Nia Long.
And I didn't even know Nia Long does these type of interviews, but nonetheless, I thought she did good.
Yeah, she did really, really good. So, if you hadn't had a chance to check it out, definitely check it out. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have some engagement in regards to, what we took away from the interview. But we want people to formulate their own opinions as well. It could be something on there that could assist you in your personal journey to healing, to personal growth, maturing, loving on yourself. And I think that interview is a powerful tool to be used for that.
Yeah, I watched the interview, so I finished it yesterday. Um, and first of all, I like the fact that they normalize black men especially, but men in general, just being more vocal and him sitting down with her and getting his thoughts out. So I thought that was dope. I thought, I guess when I watched it, I was expecting, I guess, more detail. I mean, I guess they didn't want to give all of that. You know, nothing really was too specific. So if you're looking for like a reason as to why, you know, they broke up or what broke the camel's back, I didn't get any of that. But what I will say is I do feel like he was very guarded. I think her observation of that was correct. You know, he's dealt with a lot of trauma. He's healed from some of it. He was still in healing, and he was open about that. So I thought overall the interview was good. But I was expecting to hear, so why y'all break up?
Yeah, so I think, you know, from my standpoint, they're in an active divorce case. And, you know, slander, libel, those type of things are real. Those are real. So if somebody,
that's why
if somebody throws salt on your name, you know, we're not talking about just your next door neighbor talking. I mean, within those, there are cases and laws that support that. But when we're talking about celebrities with a lot of money, so if he get on a platform and start talking crazy, releasing information that Jeannie.
Okay.
You know,
it could jeopardize the outcome of their divorce.
Correct.
So I guess I get that.
Yeah.
But then my thing is wait till after it's over to do the interview.
Well, Jeezy has a lot of great things going on now. He has a lot of great things going on. So he has the
So
book.
before we start, do you have a crush on Jeezy?
No. No, I don't have a crush on. See, it's weird that you would say that. No, I have a
because
have a
I
love.
remember.
No. I have a love for black men who are doing the work. I have a love for people that are doing the work. And if I see it, I salute it. Their healing journey is their healing journey. So you have to salute somebody for even starting.
Yeah, that's true.
So
because the longest journey begins with the first step.
Correct. So I'm like, woo, you know, his story is not my story. Parts of it I could relate to. Most of it I could not relate to because I'm an African American female. I'm not an African American man. I didn't grow up in the city and state that he grew up in. And certain life situations he had to deal with, I did not have to deal with.
Right. And I do think we do need to do more supporting our black men, like, and allowing them to have a space to express their thoughts. Because they go through a lot of stuff, you know, they go through a lot of stuff and they're not vocal. Whereas we have sisters, cousins, aunties, friends, whatever. We talk more. We're naturally more vocal. We, you know, some of my coworkers know more about me because I'm with them all day, you know, 40 hours a week. So we talk all the time, but still you're getting things out. Men they're not as vocal for one.
Correct.
And so we need to do more of that, allowing them to get it out.
Definitely. I mean, as a woman, I know if I go to one of my friends and I'm looking down or I'm not myself, I know she'd be like, girl, what's wrong?
Yeah, see, men don't do that.
Girl.
Yeah.
Talk to me, girl. You know, angry, sad, mad, whatever it is, she gonna be like, talk about it. You know, and whatever emotion I'm dealing with, you know, whether it be somebody tick me off, the kids, the work, the finance, whatever, she'd be like, oh, girl. You know, with some empathy, with a little bit of understanding. But men don't quite have that. I mean, in most men friend circles, it's more like, dude, you got this, be strong, you know, be strong, but not in all instances can you be strong. Sometimes you have to be vulnerable to your emotions and work through those emotions.
Yeah, it's different for guys. But yeah, I overall liked the interview. I was looking for more, you know, as to the reason why they parted. But let me just say this in a nutshell. Like I said, I mean, I'm not going to break it all down. If you haven't seen the interview, you can look it up on YouTube and watch the interview. But there's this part of marriage that a lot of people don't talk about. It's the real, I used to call it the real behind the ring. So it's once you get into a marriage after the first year, you know, all the dust and settled, you know, the bridesmaids that went home, hung up their dress, donated it, whatever. It's the real behind the ring where you guys are settling into everyday life and things are becoming more and more transparent, good and bad. But I think it's important for people in relationships to discuss, maybe not everything in detail as far as your past trauma, but to let your partner know what certain triggers are. Because if you are married to somebody or in a relationship with somebody and you don't know what their triggers are, then you could be poking and not even know. I didn't get the vibe from him that something horrible happened that they couldn't have come back from. But maybe she just didn't know how to support him through his, and I believe he was still healing. I don't believe his work was completely done. I mean, but I think he was still working through some things that she may have been poking and not knowing. Or once she became aware, maybe she didn't know where to put that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So when the interview starts off, Jeezy and Nia refer to themselves as Little Nia and Little J, because they're talking about their adolescent selves. They're talking about things that they went through that they didn't have control over. They were minors. It would have been their parents' responsibility to protect them and shield them from certain things that they were going through. So Jeezy's trauma started early in life, and up until through teens and into his 20s or whatever. He was losing friends due to, street stuff, gun violence, whatever. And he talks about that, and then he talks about, in his adolescent self being molested, and that's a lot. That's a whole, ordeal within itself. And he talks about that, and then he talks about not ever feeling protected, and then he talks about his mother pulling a gun on him at 12. So he talks about 8, witnessing a friend's dad shoot the friend's mom 4 times. He's hiding under a bathroom cabinet because they're afraid that the dad.
If you want to hear more, but go pull up the interview so you can watch it
for yourself.
Because we don't have time to unpack every little detail, but it was a good interview. But go ahead.
Right. So he talks about never being protected, and I think that in itself is, that's why you seek out your partner. You look for a partner that compliments you, that you feel safe with, and that you feel like you can journey along with. So I think it's many levels to the relationship dynamic. I just, I could continue prayers for Jeezy as he heals, continue prayers for Nia, because she talked about her process with the most recent public breakup that she had. And she talked about that and, the things that she had to endure with that. My thing is always have grace. Always have grace. People's adolescence and their growing up molds them. It shapes them. And that's a lot of things they don't have control. You don't have control over what city or state your mother gonna birth you in.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have no control over the house y'all live in, not having transportation. You don't have no control over what you look out your window and see occurring. People shooting dice, people shooting guns. You don't have no control of that because you're a child and you're looking to the adults to put you in a safe environment. Yeah. So I think when he looks at relationships, he's looking for, that feeling of safety and security. That when I lay down at night, I can just be myself. I don't have to be strong. I don't have to be Jay or Jeezy or any of them street names. I can just be myself.
Do you feel like watching the interview, he didn't get that?
Right. So when we talked about it, because Delina and I talked about it off camera, we talked about it the first day that the interview aired. I just was waiting for her to finish watching it. But what I said, because everybody was like, well, what did he say? What was the, why did it? And I'm like, it wasn't that type of interview. It wasn't that type of interview because he's talking about his healing journey. But I still say if you watch it, you can get from it that he wasn't getting the support that he needed. Because when Nia said that, she was like, well, if you're doing the work, and he said, yeah, but your partner has to be willing to do the work as well. You're dealing with things, they're dealing with things. You trying to deal with yours, they got to deal with theirs, and then y'all got to come back to the table and be on the same level. But if you're continually healing, and they're pretty much like stuck, then y'all won't ever catch up. It'll always be a separation of things. Yeah. And the things that you unpack and then put away or you've dealt with, they're not unpacking theirs and dealing with it. And everybody's journey is on a different level. And that's why I said we got to give grace. But he said that, they went to therapy and marital therapy or whatever, and it just wasn't gonna work. I mean, and I don't know, Jeannie could have been looking at it like, get over it. You know, we talking, you 46, we talking about stuff that happened when you was 6, 8, and 10 or 12. You know what I'm saying? We talking about stuff back then. Like, why aren't you over that yet?
Right. So one thing that I've learned from being in my own relationship is sometimes there are we problems, meaning if you and I are in a relationship, sometimes we have us problems, and then sometimes a person has a them problem. So what I know is it's very difficult to be with a man who has mommy issues. You know, you'll never feel that wound. But like you said, you can support them through it while they come. But therapy is 2 parts. You go to therapy, right? Because I've been to therapy. Okay. And I did therapy when I was married for a period of time, and then I did therapy about a year and a half ago for about 7 months. So therapy is 2 parts. You go, you get stuff out, you unpack it, and they kind of assist you in organizing it, right? They don't really give you a solution, but they kind of nudge you in the direction of different possibilities. And then you kind of from there pick which one you want to execute, you know, and if you choose one that doesn't work, you go back to drawing board. But what I say all that to say, therapy is 2 parts. You go, you unpack, and then you have to utilize the tools that they give you, you know, and that's another thing we should normalize is supporting people into going to therapy, because it's actually very good to go somewhere and get all your stuff out and unbox it and organize it and whatever. So I mean, they went to counseling, which I thought was great. And then I just wonder, like, were they actually using the tools? You know, I mean, I just would love to know more about what, because I'm nosy. I mean, you know, this, and usually I'm not really into that much of celebrity stuff, you know, but this one really piqued my interest because I was like waiting the whole time at the interview, like, is he gonna say this one thing that's gonna like be like, oh, okay, that's probably what was it. I didn't get that nobody was cheating.
No, I didn't get that. I didn't get it was no infidelity or anything like that. Like I said, you just continue to say, you know, support, you know, in unison, together. You know, those were the things that he was saying. And when back to what you said about the mommy issues, he talked about, you know, dealing with that. He talked about how he forgave his mother. He forgave her, you know, saying that she was young and he know that she did the best that she could. He drove, you know, he talked about driving to the cemetery, and he wrote a letter to his mom and stuff like that.
Now, did he deal with this stuff before or after he was in the marriage?
I think this was after. I mean, if I remember the timeline, it was after. It was like a year and a half or so ago. So this would have been after he married Jeannie, because supposedly they were married around the 2-year mark or whatever. So yeah, it would have been after. But he, in the letter, he says that he chooses him. So that's why I feel like it was after he had gotten married, and he said he was going to choose him. But
which I thought was interesting, because I did get that it was like after. And I think it's real important to get married when you are in a whole place, because your partner can't come in and fill gaps in the fence. You have to already come to the table whole. People talk about the table, but you got to come to the table whole. You know, yeah, this happened. I was hurt by it. I was wounded by it, but I have closure. I learned these things. I put it into perspective. I've grown from it. I've got closure with this. You know what I'm saying? Because I can imagine that was very difficult to be married to him all that time, and he's still working through the rage that he had towards his mom. I mean, that could be a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, Jeannie has also been vocal about her dysfunction with her mom, Mommy Ma, and she talks about, you know, and then like I said, so Jeezy states in his interview he was molested. Jeannie has been vocal about her being molested. Jeezy talks about his trauma from his mama. Jeannie talks about her trauma from her mama. So they had some similarities.
Two hurt people.
But what I'm saying is, if you see him going through it, and you know these are some same issues that you feel or have had to deal with, then that should have been the encouragement to get on one accord. To say, okay, we need to do this together, hand in hand, husband and wife. Like, let's just take off our cloaks, take off our hats, and just be one and just deal with this together on the same level. Because at the end of the day, we're just trying to be the best two parents to our child, and we want to be the best husband and wife to each other. So we need to go through this together. So that's why I say, I just really think that we're in two different places of this healing journey, and we as spectators, we may never know. It may never be fully disclosed. But I'm saying in the interview, it was done with class. He didn't speak badly of her, and he said, "I would never talk badly about somebody that I love."
Right.
And I think that protected her, and hopefully that gave her a little sense of security as well. Because when you said Jeezy did an interview with Nia Long, Jeannie probably was sitting on the edge of her seat like, oh, what's going on? What is he about to get up here and say? If it was a messy breakup. So the unknown probably had her like.
Well, I know they have a beautiful daughter. How do you say it? Monaco? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, something like that.
I think her daughter, their daughter's just absolutely gorgeous. I wish them the best. And I guess they'll transition on to co-parents. He has other kids, right? I saw one article say he has 3 other kids, but then in that interview or somewhere I saw him on like Good Morning or something, and he said he don't have 3 kids.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He has 3 other children. I think he has the grown son that's 20 some, and then I think he has 2.
Yeah, that's what I read in the article, that he had 3 other children. So this little baby made 4. But he said that wasn't true. So I don't know how many kids he got, but
I know how many kids I got.
Right. I know how many kids I got, and I wish him well in his healing journey. And so yeah.
So to our gentlemen out there, our gentlemen viewers, and husbands of those ladies that are tapping weekly, we just want to say, continue to do the work, continue to unpack, continue to encourage one another, love on each other, find out each other's love language, and if it's therapy, if it's counseling, either through your church or through a licensed professional, whatever you need to do, because we've all been through something. It's what you do at the end, once you do have control over your situation. Like I said, as an adolescent, you can't change the things that you're introduced to, but as an adult, it's your full responsibility to work on your healing for those around you, for your husband, your wife, your children. Not so much your mother and father, because hey, if you're grown and on your own, you can control your own environment now. So just forgive them. Forgiveness was a huge thing that I had to deal with my mom. I had to just forgive her, and then I had to know that the apology was never going to come. Because people don't see things, they don't see that they did wrong. And it would have been a huge burden for me to start trying to tell her, well, you did this wrong, and you did that wrong, and you, and you, and you. I just said, I just had to forgive her. I just had to forgive her and know that an apology may never come.
So let's go back to that a little bit. So you said, have you ever sat down with your mom and had a conversation about something specific that you wanted closure to, or an apology from, or understanding? And she was resistant to that?
Yeah, so my adolescence to her is a blur. It's a blur. Like, she really don't remember like nothing. She didn't raise me. I was with my great grandmother from essentially months, all the way up to 17 years old. So I think that's a part of I think if I could put it away, I think my mom has packed those thoughts away, and she looks at it like, well, I gave you the best life that I could give you, and that was with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't beat you, I didn't abuse, I didn't. You weren't hungry. You was over there.
You was in good hands. Yeah, you wasn't with me.
Yeah, but you was in good hands. So I think in her mind, she feels like that's enough. Like, what else do you want from me? Like, I provided you, whatever. You was over there in this nice, stable environment, and that's true. And that's how I viewed it for a long time, because anytime that I brought it up, that's what she would say. Oh, I made sure you was good. Okay. And I'm like, but a kid still needs their mom.
Right. So I know my mom, she was in my life, but she wasn't as present as looking back on it now, and I know it because I do it to my kids. Like, I can be in my room all day, and I'm fine with my kids being in their room all day. Mm-hmm. You know, and being affectionate. Like, my mom wasn't a hugger, so that's why I try to be more of a hugger, you know. And I know we started off talking about Jeezy and how, you know, his childhood and being married and how it manifested itself. So it's you know, now that has me thinking, but like, I know with my kids, I really try to push myself to be like more affectionate and in tune. Mm-hmm. So do you feel like not having your mother there does it affect your parenting with your children?
Yeah, I think it causes me to go overboard with my kids. I think it just causes me to just go above and beyond, and you know, just, I mean, it's no award for being mommy of the year, but you know, I just try to do, you know, overdo it with them, and I think that's a problem, you know, because too much of anything is.
Then when you say overdoing, give me an example of overdoing.
With stuff, with anything they ask, you know, I'm up stressing, like, oh, I gotta do it because if I don't do it, they're gonna be disappointed and they're gonna feel a type of way. So now, just here recently, have I gotten to the point where I just say no. Because I'm not going to, you know, kill myself. You know, I'm not.
Now they probably thinking you the bad mama.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm the bad mama.
The bad mama.
They're like, hold on. We was doing basketball, track, cheerleading. We had weekly movie. And Tuesday night we ate dinner out. You know, one night a week we was eating out. And, you know, if they said spaghetti, I was whipping up spaghetti. And I was walking a tightrope for my kids. And I do not regret doing any of it. But I think that was because of my lack thereof. Yeah. So when I went to therapy after losing my dad, when I went to therapy for grief, this was after grieving the loss of my dad, and I said, I've lost everything. And she was like, where's your mom? And I said, oh, about that. You know what I'm saying?
So you hadn't even realized how much of a
right, because it's
a gap
how can you go in and say you lost everything and you came from two parents and the other parent's still alive? And you putting this much emphasis on losing one. So, okay, you lost your dad, but you still have your mom. And I'm like, no, I don't. Right?
See, I didn't grow up with my dad. It was just my mom. So, and then she wasn't as present. So, you know, with my kids, I'm trying, like, I know, like, with my daughter who is older, you know, we have a different relationship, obviously, than her and my boys. But I'm just really trying to be more present. You know, I'm thinking about my child. And also, you know, I could be very rough around the edges. So I'm trying to be more softer with my daughter because, like, you know. So I just know, like, that gap, though. Even though your mom wasn't there physically and my mom was, she wasn't in tune. And I'm just, like, looking at how it plays out in my parenting. Because I really don't remember doing, like, a lot of huggy, kissy with my mom, you know. So I try to make sure, like, I'm loving on them a little bit more. And I'm probably getting really annoying with it these days.
Right. I can definitely understand.
And then there are times as a parent where you feel like, I'm tired of these kids. I'm tired of them. I want to come home. I don't want to hear no voice. I don't want to hear, mama, can I have? can I get? I don't want to talk to you. Sometimes that's how you feel as a parent.
Right.
You know. So.
Parenting is hard. Being the sole provider in the household is hard. You know, but like I said, this is just a snippet of Delina and I doing some unpacking in front of you guys to show you that, hey, we come up here to motivate you guys, but somebody had to motivate us. We had to motivate ourselves. Like, every day is a journey for us. Are we doing it right? You know, are we checking off the boxes? Are we doing what we're supposed to? And then you have to think, not today, but how is this going to affect my future child? You know, when they grow up, they're going to say, oh, mommy wasn't, you know, she never, I don't recall, you know, my kids will tell me now they never had a birthday party. And I'm looking at them like, I got pictures, I got proof. But if they didn't come up with the idea, which, you know, kids now is getting limousines and they having celebrities come and do concerts.
I'm not doing none of that.
And see, my pocket don't support that. So the most I might have done was get like a motel room, because of course you don't want to do the after party cleanup. So like I said, Delina and I have done some unpacking in front of you guys. And it just goes to show it's many layers to the healing process. And we're just talking about, the influence of good or bad parenting.
Mental health, just normalizing thinking back about your childhood and, how certain things in your childhood can affect where you are now, and tapping in and unpacking those things and seeing how they show up in your life now. What are you doing, to keep the cycle from going? If you grew up arguing with your mom, having screaming matches or physical fights with a parent, a dad, what are you doing now differently with your children? Like, are you motivated enough to raise your children so that they don't have to lay on someone's couch when they get older to deal with all the damaging things that you've recreated? That's really all I really want to do as a parent, is just be somebody they can talk to and push them into the right direction, doing the right things, being around the right people, making good decisions. That's it. So that when they grow up and be wives and husbands and they're leading families, their feet they can walk into that marriage with their footing in the right place. You're going to have issues as a husband and a wife, or, just in your adult life, period. But I think when you deal with your childhood traumas and you try to do better, what they are, and you're actively doing the work and trying to keep one foot in front of the other, it can make the other stuff smoother. So, but yeah, so I hope that you're doing your work, you're checking in on your mental health. If you're dealing with things, struggling with things, if you find yourself randomly feeling sad, a dip in emotion, talk to a friend, talk to somebody at church. I know certain jobs have counseling programs that you can do for free. So, tap in, get those bottled up feelings out, and talk to somebody,
And just to add on to that, I would say, and do it before you go into your next relationship. Do it before you go into your next marriage. Do it before you have a kid. Do it before. Don't wait until you end something and then determining, hey, I need to do something different. Now, when do therapy, whatever. But I'm saying, if you're in a place right now where you're not in a relationship, where you don't have any kids, and you know that you've had a traumatic upbringing, go ahead and do what you need to do to get the rest of your life set up for success.
Yes. Well, until next week, we'll see you back here. Don't forget to minimize the screen, like, share if you care, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you back next Tuesday. Share Motivation Podcast. Have a great week.